Hello, this is Fred Liers of Health Products Distributors and another Creating Health Naturally video. And today, we're here in the studio talking to my father and HPDI's formulator, Dr. Hank Liers. Hi, Hank.
Hi, Fred. Good to be here.
About the new Rejuvenate Plus. Now, we've had this product for since 2009, but it's been reformulated, and Hank has reformulated it, and I've tasted the new formula, and we like to think of this as Rejuvenate Plus 2.0 because it's really out of this world, and I've tasted it, and we've had it samples, and lots of really great feedback from it. But I want to talk to Hank today about the new upgraded formula because it's a big deal, because I'd say, I mean, the original formula was good, but this is really good. I mean, people are going to have to taste this in order to figure out how much they like it. So let's talk a little bit about the Rejuvenate Plus. When you began your reformulation, what was your overall thinking about how you were going to approach this?
Well, I was fortunate to have a consultant working with me who was involved in original development in the lab 10 years ago or 9 years ago, and who really has been on top of all the advances in ingredients over the years. And so this is the thing that excited me quite a bit, that here was an opportunity to take this wonderful high-RNA superfood, green formula, super tasting, and actually improve it, not only taste-wise, but from the perspective of the ingredients that were in it. And so that was quite exciting. And it was quite an intense endeavor because the formula has about 50 ingredients. And
wow.
I had to think about each and every one of them and find suppliers and then specify suppliers to my manufacturer on every single ingredient, which mostly that doesn't happen in this industry.
Wow.
This was very, very specific.
Wow.
So,
and for just as a reminder, and for those who may not know, the Rejuvenate line of superfoods, Rejuvenate Plus being our most popular and best-selling, is currently comprised of 3 superfoods: Rejuvenate Original Greens, which is very intensely green and has lots of chlorella and spirulina in it; Rejuvenate Plus, which is our light sweet greens, which is really tastes good and now tastes even better; and Rejuvenate Berries and Herbs, which is our no greens, all berries and herbs. And these are the only to date products, superfoods, that are formulated specifically to provide therapeutic levels of dietary nucleic acids, which is dietary RNA and DNA. And we can talk a little bit more about that, but I wanted to ground everybody in what the product is. And like I said, this has really been one of our best-selling superfoods and one of our best-selling products overall. And so we're really proud to reintroduce it as the new improved version. All right, so Hank, we've had these products for 10 years, and we formulated these products to be high in dietary nucleic acids, which have all kinds of benefits, and we've read the books of Benjamin S. Frank. And so you've actually increased the dietary nucleic acid content of this product. Typically, a Rejuvenate product has about 340 milligrams of dietary RNA, dietary nucleic acids. Can you tell us more about how you managed to increase the dietary nucleic acids in the product?
well, all of the dietary nucleic acids are food source. And those food sources of nucleic acids, and RNA especially, include chlorella, which is probably the most effective one known. Spirulina is another one. And I recently learned that actually spirulina is more like 3% RNA.
Wow.
So, it probably has always been high, but it's even higher now. So, and then you have nutritional yeast, which is also a very high source. And then you can actually extract the RNA from nutritional yeast.
Right.
And
extract.
so you wind up having multiple sources, food sources. And the interesting thing, each of those gives you a good amount of RNA, but they also have other benefits of their own, which is wonderful. So in this particular reformulation, I increased the spirulina by about 500 milligrams. And if given that it's 3% RNA, that's about 15 milligrams more.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we were claiming 340 from the past, assuming 1%. So there may be even more in there.
So there could be 355, there could be 400.
Could be 400. It could, so
Wow.
That's great.
So Hank, you actually managed to increase the protein in the product from about 11.6 to 13.9 in terms of grams. How did you accomplish that?
When I got into the reformulation, we were looking at the sources of protein that we had had previously. And the newer ones that were out that had not been available previously is a super smooth tasting 80% pea protein just by itself, which had a really good price. You know, in other words, it's high quality and reasonable cost.
Mm-hmm.
And the same happened with rice protein since the last time we did this. Very high quality, 80% protein. Previously, we had like a sprouts protein that was only 65% protein. So basically, I pulled those apart and I put the pea protein in, which is a primary source in there. And then I actually have alfalfa sprouts and broccoli sprouts, and they're each about 35% protein.
Wow.
So it's a way, it's a multi-benefit ingredients, because the sprouts have other super benefits,
Mm-hmm.
but they do give you about 35%.
And the
protein.
spirulina and chlorella have protein
And
as well.
the spirulina is very high, you know, for a green substance. It's about 62% protein.
Wow.
And chlorella is up in the upper 50s and just a little bit less.
So it all aggregates together.
And then even flax, you know, because I'm trying to get essential fatty acids in the product, but flax is, you know, like 20% protein. So we have 7 different very high quality protein sources in this product. And so it's 2 things. It's one, it's certainly the amount of grams, because of these factors, came out to be higher, and we get all the other benefits that we get from the other ingredients as well. And you know, protein has an NPU factor. It's how effective it is in terms of meeting the requirements of the human body, and all of these mixed protein sources wind up giving you a very high utilization factor.
These are protein standards, like based on the egg value.
That's right.
One of the things that makes Rejuvenate Plus so amazing is that it actually is one of the few superfoods to have a built-in multivitamin with advanced forms like coenzyme B vitamins, for example. And so I love taking this product because it's like I already take a standalone multivitamin, but if I forget to take it or if I'm busy, I sometimes just having that extra boost of a multivitamin built into this really adds, really boosts me up. So I'm just looking on here, you can see that it has all kinds of B vitamins in it and the multivitamin complex. So tell me a little bit more about the multivitamin complex in here, the subformula, how you came to that, what's in it, and any changes that have been in the upgraded formula.
Well, let me just say this. When I do a superfood, the whole idea was to make this totally supportive, that you could almost live on this by itself. And so I incorporated a multivitamin in it that was significantly more than RDA, maybe 2 or 3 times, and that used coenzyme forms of B1, B2, B6, B12, folate, and so it's quite amazing from that perspective that people then really could take this and get tremendous support from a metabolic point of view.
Advanced forms at therapeutic levels.
Right. And one of the things that was changed, I mean, it's pretty much the way it was in the prior formulas, but one of the big changes in the world of nutrients is folates, and there's 5-MTHF, which goes right into the body and goes right to work.
That's the 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate form of folate.
It's a fairly expensive form, but you don't need a lot of it. But it's even when people look at genetics these days, they're seeing that particular form is so important. And so I was able to make that change and have a better multivitamin.
A lot of genetic testing going on these days showing that people need this form
That's right.
to work in their bodies,
That's
and
right.
that this is the preferred form for making things work. You know, I just wanted to say that the new upgraded Rejuvenate Plus formula is probably the best tasting superfood I've ever tried. And I know that's coming from me, but it's like, I mean, I'm wowed by this. And so I want to just address a little bit of the flavoring and the taste issues. I know there's organic cherry and vanilla flavoring, and I know that there's a bunch of taste enhancers in here, but I really find it hard, actually I should say, I really find it amazing that a product that was already so good can be made so much better. And so can you talk a little bit about how you managed to make this taste so good?
I'd be happy to.
Okay.
First of all, my philosophy, which has been different from other people who do superfoods, is, you know, they all are interested in just in getting the ingredients in the product. And they're super ingredients, and that's great. But I have always taken it the next step, and that is I want it to taste good even in water. That's my design philosophy.
The water standard.
And that's not easy. That's an art. It's always amazes me that just a tiny little change in a taste enhancer can make this product taste like something completely different. I mean, milligrams. So many, many long hours were spent optimizing how to make this thing taste just right. And some of those taste enhancers, by the way, are also highly functional. And that's another thing that I do, because I'm always trying to get any ingredient I put in there to have the maximum benefit that you can possibly get. So, you know, we have organic cherry and vanilla flavoring, and you have to be very careful of choosing just the right amounts to get that wonderful flavor in your mouth, okay? And so that was a lot of trade-offs in getting to that point. But also, to get the right sweetness, we have a combination of D-ribose, which is also in there because it's a part of the RNA, the whole business of making RNA in the body, and it's a very important ingredient. We have inulin, which is from chicory root, which has fructooligosaccharides in it, and those not only make it taste good because that's sweet actually, but they're prebiotics, so they help with the gut function. And that's true with xylitol and mannitol. They tend to be prebiotics. None of these have a much of a sugar effect in your body.
Right.
And then finally we have stevia, and I'll just tell a little story. When I got my sample, it had 40 milligrams of stevia, and I played with it. They sent me a little bit of stevia, and I added 4 milligrams more of stevia. And that when I got the product back and I tasted it, it was like, wow.
And no bitterness.
No, the stevias we use these days have no bitterness.
Debittered.
So anyway, that's kind of a nice little overview of the taste enhancers and how we make it taste so good.
And just to go on with that, just one more point. the level of sugars in this product, it's like half a milligram per serving?
Half a gram.
Half a gram.
Right.
But it's so little.
It is extremely small. I was somewhat surprised at that, but
In a 2-scoop serving.
in a 31 gram serving, there is 0.6 grams of sugar, which means that it's ideal, say, for someone that's a diabetic, you know. They get super nutrition and they can take this and get no sugar.
And when I take it, it's so gently sweet and nicely sweet, you'd never guess it's half a gram of sugar.
Right.
So Hank, there is an enzyme complex built right in. I mean, you talk about a multivitamin built in, talk about protein built in, and dietary nucleic acids. We also have an enzyme complex.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about this enzyme complex?
Well, typically, the things that have to be digested in a product like this are protein, the carbohydrates, the fats, say from the flax. So what we're doing here is providing extra support for the digestive system. So it has proteases, which break down proteins. It has amylases, which break down carbohydrates. And it has lipase, which breaks down the fats. So it just ensures that the high nutrient levels that are in there are optimized in terms of absorption into your body. And so that's why we have it in there. And we actually have a new, very highly rated enzyme complex.
As part of the upgraded version.
As part of the upgrade.
Wow.
So, and then the other thing I wanted to mention is we do include lecithin in the product. And lecithin, technically, you could call phosphatides. And phosphatides are what cell membranes are made of in the body. And the whole idea with phosphatides, if you can get the cell membranes really working properly, because you've got adequate amounts of them, your brain works better, your liver works better. Those organs particularly are really important. Your liver is the one that detoxifies you, and your brain gives you brain power. And so, and historically people have used soy lecithin, but we use a high phosphatide sunflower lecithin, non-GMO, so that it's, you know, very clear this thing.
And what are the amounts in a serving?
1,500 milligrams.
Wow.
So it's a good shot.
So some people take this as a separate supplement.
That's
You
right.
might not have to by taking your Rejuvenate Plus.
That's right.
So another ingredient that I think it's important to talk about when talking about Rejuvenate Plus is that you have used aloe vera in the product for years, but now there's a new aloe vera. I believe it's the by aloe vera gel powder, and it's a significant improvement, making this a truly upgraded formula and contributing to its excellence. Can you talk a little bit about this aloe vera gel powder?
Yes, when I was looking to do the upgrades, and I went out looking for what's new with aloe vera, and I found this by aloe formula. And as you may know, acemannan is the ingredient in the aloe gel that is the therapeutic ingredient. That is what does curing and healing, and it's well known. It's been studied intensely for years and years. And what I found, two major things in by aloe that was not in former products. One is the acemannan content per gram of this product is about at least twice what the best one out there that we've used before. In some cases, 4 or 5 times. And that is amazing. The other part is the way it's processed. It's processed into very small particles. And this is key in terms of absorption into the body. If you have very large particles, you don't get that stuff in and you don't get the effects. This one is less, it's so small that its absorption into the body is in some cases 10 times better than what was previously out there.
Wow.
And so I was so delighted to put this in, and a therapeutic dose is actually 200 milligrams and so it's like, wow. I mean, that's a major improvement.
And can you just mention a few of the benefits of this aloe vera gel powder?
Well, I would say it's kind of, you know, it will heal, and it will affect the immune system in ways that are extremely potent. And when you affect the immune system, then anything the immune system has to deal with, and because it was causing problems, is dealt with nicely.
Right. All the known benefits of aloe vera.
Right, that's right.
Exploded.
Right.
All right. You know, I just wanted to say that I almost can't believe how much better this product is, because the original product was really good. I take the original product every day, or I did until recently, and I just really want to say that it's really rather incredible to me to experience the new Rejuvenate 2.0 upgraded formula and just feel how good it feels. And you know, when I drink it, it's really beautiful in suspension. It smells great, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, no doubt. But I can't emphasize enough how the subjective experience is radically better. And so maybe you could just give a little recap on the upgrades themselves in brief, and that way people can get a sense of just quickly the differences between the former product and this upgraded 2.0 product.
Okay. So I'll just run down those changes and improvements. First thing is RNA. I've already mentioned something about the spirulina and maybe 15 milligrams more, but also the fact that spirulina really is like over 3% RNA, so that the number 340 may be closer to 400, which is wonderful. We have now closer to 14 grams of protein. It's like almost 2.5 grams more, which makes me happy. I've always wanted a little bit more protein if I could get it in there. And so this is wonderful. Getting less sugar in there is like, wow, that is cool. You know, I didn't realize that I would be able to get only 0.6 grams of sugar.
Wow.
And that opens that product up to more people who have problems with sugar. It's a major problem in our society.
Wow.
I did put in a very high quality broccoli and alfalfa sprouts, a blend. There's like 200 milligrams of that. And all the benefits that you get, not only the protein, but the enzymes and the NRF2 activators that are in those.
A whole other topic.
So that was exciting. And we've already talked about the aloe. Now we have something with acemannan that's probably twice what was there before. And now in this multivitamin complex, we have the 5-MTHF, which is the best form of folate on the market, and it's in there as well. So those are some of the major changes.
You know, which just speaks to the whole idea of, here I'm speaking of it about that I love the taste, I love the feel, I love the consistency. And when I hear about all these upgrades, I know all those upgrades went into making that consistency and making that taste and making it less sugary. But the beautiful thing as you're speaking, I'm realizing, and I've known, is that this isn't just cosmetic or about taste, this is about functional ingredients. So it's making it taste good and makes me feel good because it is good, it is better. You're really making all the ingredients work for health, for optimal health, and for vibrancy. And so what I'm tasting and feeling is health itself.
Wonderful statement, I love that.
So it's kind of, you know,
Yeah.
You almost have to try this to believe it and to really experience it and give it some time to see how it affects you, because I really feel great on this. I mean, and that says a lot since I was already taking it.
You know, I was able to do a wonderful thing with the new product, and that is, it was made and we were still doing labels, but I got a lot of like 20 kilos of the powder, and we all got to taste it. And we have many wonderful experiences with that. and including me, it's like, wow, this is unbelievably good. But, I know you've had a lot of experiences as well that you could share with us.
Yeah, well, I'm blessed that I had the opportunity to be a sample tester and get a good amount of this. And I remember you handing me this double bagged, I don't know how many pounds it was.
2.5 kilos.
2.5 kilos. And the first thing that happened was I was hit with this wall of intense, beautiful aroma. And I was like, that never happened before. I may have noticed it. And so I remember I took it home and I just put it in front of my 10-year-old son and I said, smell this. And his eyes lit up and he's like, I want some of that, And then next time I made him one of his little drinks with the Rejuvenate in it, he says, did you use the new one? And it's just like, to me, that's pretty incredible, And I've spoken to a lot of other people who've been sample testers and other people. But from my perspective, you had told me how good this was. And I had even been part of the process in your kitchen and elsewhere of taste testing different levels of sweetness and different ingredients and getting samples. But really nothing prepared me for the finished product, which is really quite interesting, finished sample product. And when I got home and I put that in water and I hit that aroma hit me and I shook it up and I drank that, pretty much I really haven't wanted to have anything since then. I've not been taking my Rejuvenate Original lately, and I've been not taking my Rejuvenate Berries and Herbs lately. Not that I'm not going to, it's just, that's the first thing that comes to my mind when I'm going to have some superfood, is this beautiful aroma. And the other thing I wanted to mention is the consistency. So the other product was really good. I have to shake it a little more often. This one, it goes into suspension so nicely. And it's got kind of a bolder texture about it. There's something about it that's just really pleasant. In addition to the aroma, the texture, and the way it goes down so smoothly. So I have a couple other little stories to tell. I was with someone not long ago and I was explaining the new product and how it came about. And it just so happened that the reason we were talking about it was because I was holding a glass in my hand. And I was trying to explain to them some of these changes that had been made to the product. So I just kind of casually said, smell this. And I reached over and I kind of stuck it and they grabbed it and they put their nose over it. And then they just kind of grabbed the glass and started drinking it. Because their eyes lit up just with the smell alone. And I was like, fine with that. They drank half my Rejuvenate, but I had more. I made more. And I said, just finish it. And they did. And to me, that speaks volumes more than any words I could say, to watch somebody who's like kind of cold to the product or maybe had tried it in the past, just drink it down.
In water.
In water. So, so these are some of the experiences. And then speaking to a few of the other people who've tried it, and the whole idea of water, people just love this in water. And I believe that the water standard, the idea that you can put a superfood in water and that's your standard for excellence, meaning how does it taste in water? Never mind fruit juice or adding extra sweeteners or rice milk or almond milk or something like that. The fact that this is so good in water actually means it's going to be much more available and usable, because who doesn't have access to water, And when I was on my vacation, that's all I had access to. So I was taking it in water daily and using it up. And thank God I brought enough with me, because it was in demand, believe me. So thank you so much for designing this amazing upgraded formula that blows the lid off what I thought was possible in terms of an upgrade or even a superfood. And I do believe this makes it, perhaps from my perspective, the best superfood, or one of the best superfoods available anywhere. And that's from my heart and my mind and my gut.
Thank you. I feel the same way.